Hello Capricorn, welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Capricorn is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Please hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. It is totally free. It doesn't cost you anything. If there is something you would like me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is going to be a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger. And I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I might provide. And remember, Capricorn, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And here's a 5 of Cups. I feel like you've been going through some really disappointment. I think we feel this card quite literally right now, that something didn't work out exactly the way we wanted it to. Right? Could be a relationship, could be a job. We're feeling some sort of a letdown. Okay? We need to put this card into some context, because just as quickly as these emotions might come on us, they're going to wash away again. Okay? To be replaced with something else. Okay, and maybe we should work to replace these emotions with some ones that we enjoy. Now, not exactly replacing them, because we're going to let ourselves feel what we feel. We have to honor our feelings, right? But we don't want to identify with them. Okay, we want to be just as open to feeling these as we are to letting them go and bringing in the new energy. Okay. Now we've got that Temperance card. So we have to, Temperance, interesting, right? Because we in some ways, we need to temper our expectations of things. So, we feel this disappointment because something didn't live up to our expectations. And that happens, obviously. It's not something that we wish for. We got a 5 of Swords now. It's not there. See, there we go. This and see, the 6 of Cups, I think, was our expectation. We wanted something to be absolutely perfect. It wasn't exactly perfect, and that's okay. And we're feeling and thinking how we do about it, but we have to be able to recognize those feelings and, well, let's see, continue looking forward. There's the Knight of Pentacles. Continue working diligently toward manifesting what we really want. So this isn't a reading to say, lower your expectations, No, it's saying keep your expectations. In fact, set them even higher. But realize that there are going to be good days and bad days, that we're going to have to modulate this, our experience of our emotions, so that we don't get discouraged. Okay? And really, it's about discouragement. We've got that Empress energy, beautiful. We've got that World energy, Universe card. We've got the Fool energy, and we've got the Hermit energy. So there's a lot of illumination going on internally as well as externally in your environment. Yeah, really wonderful. This is pretty rare. We don't usually get so many major arcana right up the path of the Serpent. And to start off with the adjustment, or the art card, is our first major arcana card. Well, this is pretty special too, okay? Because this is almost a card that says, look, we can transform this disappointment into ambition. We can not use it as a loss. See, the 5 of Swords down here is the real culprit. Because when we start feeling bad, right? Let's say 5 of Cups, we're feeling bad. Well, the 5 of Swords is us now thinking bad. Right? Or thinking that we are failures, or that we are disappointments, or that this is us identifying with that feeling, which we don't want to do, right? So there has to be a way for us to transmute these emotions, all emotions really, into fuel, right? Into power, into confidence, yeah. So it's kind of like you get dealt a difficult blow by life. We use it to make ourselves stronger. We use it to have even more force and fire in pursuing our goals. Yeah, this is a special transmutation of energy today, because we still want this perfect harmonious, this beautiful day, this beautiful feeling. This is our ideal. This is the feeling tone that we want with life. And it's harmony between ourselves and the world, right? It's, there's no discord here. This is every day is a beautiful day. Every person you talk to, you just become instant friends, best friends for life with everybody. This is never really running into any kind of obstacle out in the natural world. It's like a Dr. Dolittle vibe, right? And then we got the Empress too. So I kind of see us expecting the world to just be like we go out into nature and we just put our arms out. It's Jim Carrey and Ace Ventura, right? You just put your arms out and the birds come and land on your shoulders, and everybody is just, everybody is just gathering around you, and everybody is just so happy and peaceful, and it's a really warm and fuzzy feeling, but we don't always get it. Sometimes we get a little bit something less than that, and we feel, darn it, it didn't happen today. But that's the work. The work is always striving after that ideal. Okay? And then to go with the 10 of Wands in the future, this is the way forward. Doubling your efforts. Not lowering your expectations, trying harder. Using this as as kind of a motivation, as something that just says, hey, this wasn't quite it, but you're getting closer. Every time you try and fail, you're a little bit closer to that success. And this might be a success that never actually happens. I don't know if there's ever going to be a life where it is just perfect harmony, 24/7, all sunshine and roses and unicorns and puppy dogs. Maybe. I've never seen it. I think we can get close, and I think we can have days where it really feels like that. I mean, this is the best day of our life, right? This is just that feeling that nothing is wrong in this moment. And we feel like this can go on forever. And indeed, I kind of feel that in a way it does. But what goes on forever is us holding our standard, holding our ideal, and falling a little bit short, but then trying harder. So then really your falling short is going to be more success than you'd ever dreamed of. Does that make sense? Okay, let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is that factor, infinite and unknown. And we're going to set it down over here. We're going to put Alien, Simon Mork Ripley right there on top. We're not going to look at that card until the very end, but it will tie everything together. And it will give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. If at any point during this program you feel like you know what that card is, I want you to put your prediction down in the comments. We can do it together. We can make it a group exercise. Okay? Now, you may be noticing, maybe thinking, what looks different here? Well, this is our new studio. It looks very much like the old studio, but we've upgraded a little bit, okay? And I think that this is, it's a brand new space, it's a brand new energy, and things are a little bit different. Things are a little bit kind of out of place, not really where they were before, but this is, we're getting closer and closer to that ideal, right? Closer and closer to that perfection where everything is just perfect, right? It'll never get that way. And this is kind of an example of this because, every day I'm going to think, well, maybe if I put that over there, maybe I just don't know where to put my coffee cup here, which today I'm just drinking some tea. I don't know where to put everything, It doesn't quite look perfect yet. It literally never will, okay? But that imperfection motivates me to keep making little changes. And I think the real key here, and that's the most difficult part, and that's why the Fool is in the position of the most difficult part, is enjoying the journey, enjoying the ride, right? We could easily get frustrated. We could easily get disappointed. We could easily get stressed out and, feel like quitting, right? Think about quitting. When we get, challenges, when things just aren't quite perfect. I had some issues with the cameras and then the angles of things, the zoom and all that kind of stuff. The lighting, the wiring of stuff is just a pain in the butt. And we could easily get disappointed at these things that don't meet our very high expectations. But it's kind of fun to do the work. It's kind of fun for me to get down there under the desk with some zip ties and try to, get the wires running properly so they're not just dangling in front of the camera. For some of us, that's the fun part anyway. But I think in your case, we can look at what is enjoyable about the process. Okay, and I don't know if this is a career thing, if this is romance, relationships, family, right? If this is something to do with your friends. We got to turn the fives around. And a good way for us to do that, I think, is to do one of our Botanical inspiration cards. I like to challenge the swords cards because I feel when we get the swords, they are as challenges to us. Okay? And I think it's important for us to kind of challenge them back. And the one we have is the iris. Rainbows and messages. When it rains, look for rainbows. When it's dark, look for stars. Well, that's kind of exactly what we're talking about, right? It's because we're in this difficult position. We've had this, what we're calling some kind of disappointment. And we could dwell on that. We can dwell on how bad it feels, how wrong it went, what we may have done wrong. We can think of all the wrong, right? We can look at the darkness of things rather than seeing the bright side, see the stars, see the things that did go right, or the things that we learned about ourselves, or the idea that we have of how to make it better in the future. Let's say it's a project, an art project, a creation that you're working on. Every iteration is a little bit closer to perfection. And when it's not, then you know you got to roll something back, right? And then go back to a previous state and start from there. But I think for an artist, that's part of the fun. That's part of the journey, part of the process, right? So we've got to look for the rainbows. We've got to look for the stars. Interestingly, this is the rainbow, the art or temperance card, Sagittarius, shooting that arrow through the rainbow, you know. And so this is part of your ideal, but this is also part of looking at the other side of things, trying to find that balance, you know, realizing that, yeah, this sucks. I don't feel very well about it. It's frustrating. I feel like giving up, but at the same time, and we can hold two opposing views in mind at the same time, right? At the same time, I feel really bad. I also really enjoy this process, and I don't want to be doing anything else. Okay? It's a struggle. It's stressful. Yeah, it's scary at times. But this is what I want to be doing. And if you didn't feel the fives, if the fives weren't here, then it would probably mean you didn't really care about this thing. Right? If you don't care about something, then if you win or lose, it doesn't matter. It doesn't bother me in any way, shape, or form. So the simple fact that you feel some sort of what we're calling disappointment, to me says that you really do care about this, that this is something you really do want in your life. Okay? Whether it's career, friends, family, relationships, creativity, a spiritual practice, it doesn't matter. What matters is you still hold the vision. And I think this is what you need to focus on. This is at the top of the path of the dove here. And the Knight of Pentacles is the one that can see the vision of the future, right? Let's move our dove and serpent maybe to the top there. The Knight of Pentacles is the one that can see into the future. So you're able to project your consciousness, let's say, a week, a month, a year, 5, 10, 20 years, whatever your timeline is. And you have to tap into that imagination. Can you still see yourself in that state, in that successful state? Because that is your ideal. Now, what is the Knight of Pentacles looking at? The Ten of Pentacles. And the Ten of Pentacles is your ideal life, your perfect, picture-perfect, best life. Okay, the ideal of it. And then what does it take to get to that ideal? Well, a Ten of Wands, right? Fire to earth, it's the act of creation. So we have to have the ideal in mind. And you have to check in with it periodically. Maybe it's changed. Maybe whatever you're going through right now currently, this so-called disappointment, is giving you a different perspective on what it is you actually want. And so check in with your vision. Check in with your future state. Does it still look the same, or has it changed in any way? And if it's changed, maybe your idea of what is absolutely perfect is different. Okay? So then we might need to restructure our expectations, restructure our plans, that sort of thing, right? So it's very important to check in with this imagination every once in a while. And I think right now especially is a very important time for you to do that. A little bit of introspection, a little bit of assessment is always good when we have what we're calling this kind of disappointment. It's good to exercise the mind and find out, okay, why am I disappointed? Well, it's because I have high standards and I really do care about this, And then, okay, that's true. Now, what do I do about it? Do I still want the same things, or do I want something a little bit different? Whatever the answer, doesn't matter. The point then is to go balls to the wall, pedal to the metal, right? Foot to the floor. Go hard with it, double down, right? Put in more effort to get there, okay? But we have to do this other work first. We have to feel how we feel and honor our feelings. We have to do the introspection and have that conversation between the thinking and the feeling. See, we've got the 5 of Swords and 5 of Cups. This means that the heart and the mind are communicating. We're feeling some kind of way. We're asking, hey, why do we feel that way? Okay, what does that feeling mean? What does it really indicate? We're having a conversation between these two. Okay, and it's a productive conversation. That's the key. And yeah, we're trying to say, hey, cheer up, buddy. We're trying to say, oh, hey, look for the rainbows, look for the stars, but also, honor the fact that you feel like it's raining or you feel that you're in the dark right now. We have to do both, and that's the Art or Temperance card. The 10 of Wands, though, is where it's at now. And the 10 of Wands leads us into all these major arcana energies. And by the way, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It is totally free. It doesn't cost you anything. And it really does help out the channel. And I really appreciate that. YouTube's been a little bit weird with Dove and Serpent Tarot. It doesn't seem that we're really getting as much traction as we used to. And I think right now we kind of need all the assistance that we can get. I'm not too proud to ask, And the best way to promote the channel is to subscribe, like button, leave comments, share it on other social media platforms. That lets the algorithm know that you find value in what we do, and it'll help keep this channel going. And all those things are free to do, right? And I really do appreciate that. You've got the Empress energy here. And Empress energy is beautiful energy. And this is really, this is realizing that you're going to get out of this what you put into it. Okay? And you could be saying, well, wait, I put in all this effort here and I was still kind of disappointed there. Yes, but we're making that progress, that we're continually pushing the bar, raising the bar a little bit, right? I was going to say raising the envelope. And the Empress is the energy that the more you contribute, the more you will benefit, the more you put in, the more you get out. And this is also kind of a self-sacrificing energy. Okay? So I don't know exactly, this might be a hint about what you're doing, because I feel as if there is some element of you really giving of yourself to something. Maybe you're in some sort of healthcare, or maybe you're a caregiver. Maybe this is really someone who suffers for their art, But I feel like this is something that you're nourishing, this life. You are feeding it of your life force, right? And this to me is real devotion, real dedication. And this guarantees your success. We have to know what success is to us. Do we have unreasonable ideas of what success is? Do we think that things will be 6 of Cups, absolutely perfect, 24 hours a day, all the birds coming and just like flocking to us, and Dr. Dolittle, Ace Ventura kind of thing? We have to know what success is, and we have to be able to recognize how well we're doing. Even in the midst of this kind of failure or this kind of disappointment, or when we're just not feeling, 100% about this project or, whatever it is. We have to recognize that we are making progress, that we are being successful. One failure does not your success make, does not your value dictate, right? So we don't judge ourselves based on a mistake, based on a disappointment, based on something that didn't work out. It's not an indication of your value. It's not an indication of your future success or your future value, right? Losing the battle does not mean losing the war, right? That sort of thing. And we've got to keep that in mind for the Empress. And in some ways, the Empress is saying, act like you've already succeeded, right? And then let everything else kind of catch up to that energy. You know what I mean? I think that's a good way to go. The world card, or the universe card, which is in the position of your environment, it feels to me like you're in some way you're looking for a permanent kind of fixture in life. You're looking for something that's lasting. Whether it's a relationship, a career, it's an artistic career, whether it's a spiritual practice, you want something that's kind of permanent, right? But what the Fool reminds us here is that nothing is permanent. If the universe is everything, the Fool is nothing. And they're basically the same, right? They're kind of they're unmanifest. They're two ways of looking at the same thing. One is mysticism, one is magic. And magic is causing change to occur in conformity with your will, getting what you want, right? But in a deeper spiritual kind of sense, not just a whim, but what your soul truly wants, what your will truly is. Magic is the art of making things happen in the world for yourself, right? And for others, but making things change a little bit more in line with your vision of things. You know, we always talk about change and how it's not possible to affect change. We can nudge change in the right direction. We can help to steer the river a little bit, right? Not completely, right? We're not, omnipotent, but we can help nudge things along, and that's magic, right? You want things to kind of go a certain way, you give it a little bit of a nudge, and then you hope for the best. And if everything connects properly, if all the circuitry is intact in your machine, it'll work out, right? The Fool is kind of the opposite of that. The Fool is not trying to do things to cause change in the outer world. The Fool is really trying to reduce everything to an absolute unity, right? To where, in some sense, it doesn't matter what happens. And that's why with the Fool, we always say, there's no personality here. There's no sense of self. Nothing sticks to the Fool. It's a big fat zero, right? And what the zero is a portal, a tunnel, a hole, right? It's a loop. It's something that you can jump through. And I think with this, it's all experience coming through us in a way doesn't really affect us. It's all experience. It's all in that moment. But it's kind of, there's this underlying sense of unity where every experience is a reflection of that one experience, right? Every point of consciousness, every member of the audience, every cat that we have in the house here is one point of consciousness. And so it feels like a multiplicity. But to the Fool, it's all the same flow of energy. It's like the Fool is just kind of, just kind of standing here in outer space, right? Just suspended in air, and the life force is flowing through it. The Fool isn't moving. The world, the universe is moving. That one entity is moving through. That fourth dimensional kind of entity is moving through the Fool, and the Fool perceives it as a moment of consciousness, as an experience. Yeah. And I think that it's kind of difficult for you to have this acceptance when things don't go right. We all do. We don't want things to go wrong. You know, when I kind of burned out one of my lights the other day, I didn't want that to happen. You know, I was frustrated. I was disappointed. I thought about just quitting, but at the same time, invoking the Fool, it's just all part of the fun and games, right? And yeah, I might have to then get dressed and go to the store and get a new light, try to find the right one, and then, drive home and try to install it. And before I know it, it's, getting into the wee hours of the morning as I'm trying to get things assembled. And I'm tired and I'm hungry and I'm sore and, I think I got pink eye or something. But it's all part of the experience, It's all that part of that one experience that we call life. So we can get into some philosophical things about this, and we try to figure out, what does it all mean in the larger context? All these individual experiences that we have are part of a larger picture. Okay, so in the moment, it doesn't matter. Yeah, light burned out. What's one light bulb in a universe of billions and billions of suns? Yeah, not really a big deal, right? In the moment, it was a big deal. I thought about just swiping everything off the desk and just walking out of here. I'm glad I didn't, though, of course, right? But in the moment, we have those kinds of reactionary energies about us. And the Fool, I think, is a big message here, because I think, Capricorn, there's a need for you to reach out to other people in your life. And I think that's part of what you're doing. I got this feeling of a little bit of healthcare kind of thing, or even a little bit of, I don't know if you're trying to, I feel like there's people around you. And whatever you're doing is involving people, connecting people. Okay? And I think it's very important for you to connect with people right now. Don't wait for this project or this business to take off. Connect with your people now. Okay? And we may feel like, well, they're just, it's just other points of consciousness in this vast field of energy. But in a very immediate or microcosmic way, it's very important for us to have those interpersonal connections. Yeah. And whatever this disappointing thing was that happened, it's easy to see that as like a turnoff. Well, then I don't want to have friends. Maybe a friend lied to you. Maybe you went on a date or something and it didn't work out. Or maybe you were in a long-term relationship and that didn't work out. We were wronged in some way, is how we feel. And so there's part of us that just says, I don't want to ever go through that again. But at the same time, we have to. We're going to, whether we like it or not. So we might as well try to direct this energy a little bit. And with the Hermit, I think it's very straightforward. Don't let this situation isolate you from the world. And really, if we look at these cards like this, it says, yeah, don't isolate yourself. Go out and play in the world and enjoy it. Take your pleasure where you can. Have a good time. Right? If you look at these 4 cards here, they say so much together, and I think a very simple but yet a very kind of a very poignant message is, don't isolate. Don't let this be a loss. Go out and have a good time. Go out and celebrate. You say, celebrate? Well, I just lost or failed or broke up with somebody, whatever. Yeah, go out and have a good time. Go out and celebrate it. Go out and play. Go out and treat yourself to something. It doesn't have to be expensive or certainly, nothing that's going to put your health at risk or whatever. But go have a good experience. Go, feed the birds, or go to the mall, or go watch a show, or, buy a CD or something. I don't know if people still buy CDs, do they? I remember going to a place, they used to have a record store called The Warehouse. I don't know if anyone else knows what that is, but a long time ago. But do something that you enjoy. Yeah, do something that you enjoy that makes you feel good. Yeah, and if the opportunity is there, do it with a friend. Yeah, do it with a friend. Let's look at the mystery card. I'd like to see some more water energy. I want to see this kind of get back to either another 6 of Cups or even a 9, a 10 of Cups, I think would be great as kind of that ideal. That's what we're shooting for. And the disappointment is not causing us to lower our standards. We've got to adjust how we experience failure and loss and disappointment, but we're not lowering our standards. Yeah. And there's going to be good days and bad days. It's going to be hard. If you have a prediction, I want you to put it in the comments. Let's see what we have. Temperance card again. The Temperance card again. Maybe it is about moderating our expectations in a way that doesn't lower the standards, but that we don't allow ourselves to be so impacted when things don't go our way. If we're trying to push the river and let's say the river pushes back a little bit, or doesn't want to budge, and we have this just devastated reaction. Let's temper that. How do we temper sadness? Well, with joy, right? And so it's not about lowering the expectations, not about lowering our standards. It's about regulating and modulating how we respond to things that don't live up to those standards. Are we getting, the one thing though, I don't see a lot of fire energy in the reading. We see the fire in the future, but I don't see, and well, maybe that's kind of part of it though. Maybe the fire energy is part of our reaction to this disappointment. When things don't reach our standards, maybe we react in kind of an over-the-top way. And that could be why we're getting this Temperance card again to say, don't lower your standards, but don't expect everybody to live up to them, because not everybody will. And that's okay. Maybe those aren't your people. We don't have to judge those people. We don't have to have a very strong reaction to them. Maybe the Fool just says, hey, que sera, sera, right? And we just keep moving in search of those kind of unbelievably high standards. But if something isn't meeting those standards, we just let it go. We just let it go. We realize this is not the part we need. So we're going to do an extended reading as well. If you want to stick around, there's a link up top. There's a link down below in the video description. New readings for Capricorn Thursday and Sunday, 6 a.m. Chicago time. Leave a comment for me and let me know where in the world you're watching from. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It is totally free. It doesn't cost you anything. I want you to know that you are the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we're all in this together.